This is a response to Jay Jones. I saw a post he's put in a Facebook group for MIT, so this is just to respond to that. And just to clarify my end, we've had words today, so I'm not going to deny that. I did tell him to F off and I did call him an effing melt. So I apologise for that, but I'll stand by it. So here we go. What's happened? Well, 6 months ago in TFF, Albion got involved with another guy in TFF. They had a spat. They'd had lots of history in previous game modes, and they had yet another argument. And the other manager said something like, "My kids are more mature," or something like that. And then Albion said something not very good, and was removed from the game world and had his account deleted, and really was sort of kicked out. And at the time, I think rightly so, because I'm a teacher, been teaching 15 years, and a lot of you guys are fathers, and I think where kids and family is concerned, it's just a no-go area. You just don't do it. And I think he's had to learn the hard way. Albion had to learn his lesson. I think in retrospect, you can see it. And he's apologised thousands of times. But I think anyone who knows the character in the guy can see he's a good, positive, bubbly guy. He's nice and chatty. He's good for game worlds. He's active. He's very likeable. But he got involved in one incident which was bad, and there had to be some punishment and there had to be a lesson learned. But I would ask people to, because I see that there's a post about him, so I want to defend him. So this is firstly to defend him for that original post. In a game world I'm not in anymore, but still it affects somebody who's in this game world that I value. That we can't have that kind of behaviour, and James has already said he doesn't want that kind of behaviour, and the behaviour of racking clubs up in debt in other game worlds, for example, gets you sacked. Well, I'm going to put this to you why I don't think Jay should be in TFSL, and I'll give you the reasons why. This post was then put in Facebook. Oh, this guy's back, it's disgraceful, I'm going to tell you all what he did. So a lot of new managers coming in might read that and think, oh, that's horrendous, that's really bad, and Albion's this, that and the other. But there's more to it than meets the eye, and Jay supported that message, and then Jay put a comment, he has no place in our game world or any of our communities. That's what really disappointed, well, more than disappointed me, really peed me off, and that's why Jay and I had words, because of that comment. So that is true, that Albion had to learn his lesson, and I get all that, but in the same game world around the same time, two guys got involved in a huge argument, and references to people getting killed on a train accident, and references to family, and all sorts of silly stuff was put there, and that was brushed under the carpet, and that was all forgotten about. And one of those guys is a panel member of MIT. So on the one hand, people take a moral stand when they want to, but they don't follow it through across the board. There's no consistency. It's double standards. It's hypocrisy. So the guy making the accusations in the first place, okay, I can understand why he was upset at the time, but the other manager's doing the same. It doesn't condone what Albion did, but I'm just saying that there should be a consistency. And then secondly, Jay is happy to be in game worlds with the other guys, no problem, but just with Albion there's a problem. Then another thing is, obviously I've had words with Jay, and then he's gone to, in his wisdom, decided to go to the Facebook group of MIT. And the problem I have with that is, there's lots of people, there's a few people in MIT that don't like me and say all sorts of lovely things behind my back in chat groups, and we can come on to that in a minute. But that's fine, because that's their time, that's their opinion, and they're welcome to say whatever they like in chat groups. That's how they get their kicks. But in a public forum, there's a lot of guys there. I don't think that's right. I think that's poor, and Jay's done that. So I felt I needed to respond. Now, initially I responded in the news feed, and we had words, and that's the wrong place to do it, and that was wrong of me. So there's a couple of things I did wrong, and I've deleted it. And I'm doing this video to try and just be completely honest and give my account of it. So there's the backdrop with what Albion did 6 months ago, and I think we've all moved on, and I just don't see why it needs to be brought up anymore. But Jay felt necessary that he should come out and speak about him, even though he's in TFSL. Then I've had words with Jay, and then Jay's gone to the Facebook group of MIT to call me every name under the sun. Now, I don't think this fits in with the philosophy of the community we're trying to build. I don't think Jay anyway belonged in this game world, and I've been quite critical of him. He is somebody that moans and somebody that criticises, and I think he's somebody that stirs the pot. And he's somebody that then sort of tries to galvanise support and try and, where he thinks all the things he says about me, I think about him. He said I'm a bully, but I spoke to him directly one-to-one, all right? And he called me a coward, but I spoke to him directly one-to-one. I didn't go to any Facebook group. He did, so I'm responding, but he did that. He felt the need to get some support, I guess. He calls me a bully, and in reference to, I think, a number of things. I think he thinks about me is one thing about this social activity and making people do things they're not comfortable doing. And he made a dig as well in the week about some managers need to realise people have lives. Well, I do realise people have lives, and I've quit SM on 3 occasions because my life was too busy and I couldn't commit to SM. So that's a contradiction there. I do, more than anyone, understand what goes on. I nearly lost my mother in the summer in a very serious incident, and that's why I quit SM for a while, so that's proof. And he said, I quit SM, I cry like a bitch and quit SM all the time, or something silly. He doesn't know what's happened to me, he doesn't know my life, so fine. But I don't quit SM on a whim. I don't quit SM because I've lost a game or whatever. I quit SM if things in life, and I had a really tough 2017-18. I quit SM if things in life are getting too much, and I need to focus on that, because SM is a big hobby of mine, but it's a big distraction. It's quite time consuming, so I just can't do both. I can't juggle. Other less involved managers can probably just sort of stay inactive and just keep the team ticking over. But for example, if somebody had lost a relative or someone, maybe they're not going to quit SM, but they probably wouldn't be as active or as involved as normal. Well, and if that happens to me, or anything bad happens to me, or I'm very stressed out, I just get rid of SM completely so I can clear my mind, and that's why I do it. I do it for me, but I think that's also better for the game world, because the game world gets somebody else in who can commit. So I do appreciate people have lives and families, and I've said that hundreds of times. But at the end of the day, we also have a right, as much as these managers have a right not to be socially active, we also have a right to create game worlds, to make them socially active for people that want to be socially active. And if somebody's got a problem with that, they have a choice to leave that game world, not stay in that game world and moan about the social active side. That I don't understand. And I think Jay is like a lot of these managers from the past that play SM and half full sort of standard game worlds, and hop about. I've seen Jay hop about club to club to club to club in a game world, Brentford Charlton, and all the rest of it. And it's I think that's sort of like a dinosaur age of SM, but times are changing. Game worlds are getting better, more active, real communities. Fake names and cheats and inactive guys not looking after their team. They're not going to cut the mustard in top game worlds. And anybody with half a brain knows that that's a good thing, because if you want to play in a good top game world, you want the very best people, you want competition, and the social active side takes it on another level. That isn't anything to be negative about or pour scorn on. And if you have a problem with that, then don't be in them. It's just so simple. It's like me going into an empty game world today and slagging off everyone that's in that game world. Oh, this is terrible. It's an empty game world. It's the same thing. It's or me joining a game world full of Roy Keanes and Carlos Kickaballs and having a problem and saying, well, look, this is ridiculous. Change all your names. They're doing their thing. They're happy. But if you make a choice to join these game worlds, then you accept the conditions you've joined, or you don't. So he's called me all sorts of things under the sun, and but he couldn't do that to my face. He had to do that. Well, he did do it to my face as well, to be fair, but he then went onto the Facebook page, and that was very disappointing. And I'll tell you for why. Because I care about what people think of me, and I care about the perception of myself and TFSL. It matters. Not individuals that I don't speak to anymore. Certain individuals I've got no time for, and likewise, that's done for me. But an awful lot of you are in NYT and you're in TFSL, so that's where it gets the game worlds overlap, and that's why I'm very disappointed. Because if anyone watches that, reads Jay's posts, they might take the opinion, well, this isn't very nice, Rob's bullying someone. But the actual, as far as I can see, it's Albion's being bullied and they're trying to create a movement to get him out of whatever, I don't know, or court. Or why would you do that? Why would somebody go to Facebook and post about somebody else? For what reason? What would be your agenda to do that? You're trying to galvanise a negative opinion about one person. Why don't you just dislike someone and keep your opinions to yourself? But no, if you go to a Facebook post to do that, and then someone like Jay then goes and joins in on that, for me that's poor. For me that flies against the face of what TFSL is all about, and that's why I think he shouldn't be in TFSL and he should leave. I can't make him leave, but if I could, I would. I don't know what James would do. If I'm asked to leave a game world, I leave. I've proven that before, because I think you should always respect the game world owner. But I don't see Jay leaving this game world. I think he will have the opinion, no, I'm being forced out and I'm going to stand up to it. I think that's how his mentality will work. And possibly that narrative and that agenda, he'll drum up some support as well, some sympathy among some of you. But the reality is, he's basically gone and slagged Albion off on an NYT Facebook page. I've told him one-to-one what I think of him. And then he's gone and repeated that to the Facebook group. And so I think both him and the initial guy that did that need to look at themselves, but they won't, and they won't see what I'm saying. And added to all of this backdrop, there is a bit of needle and history between myself and Jay, because 2 months ago he commented on a picture of me and a girl with a different ethnicity on my Facebook wall, and he made a derogatory comment that kind of made a reference to her being a whore, based on her sort of her background. And he said it in jest, it's a joke, and that's fine. And but you don't do things like that in 2018, and you don't write things like that on a Facebook wall. I've got friends, family, I've got colleagues, bosses, parents of kids, and kids that see all that. And my real life friends were disgusted and dug him out. And then he responded by kicking off. And then he deleted me. So this isn't somebody who reflects and can ever see that he's wrong. He looks as far as the end of his nose. But he was wrong. That is wrong. You don't go and do that on someone's Facebook wall. I appreciate in people's homes and pubs and all the rest of it, we all have banter and we all have this, that and the other. Christ, and some of the things, I do appreciate all that. But it's 2018 now, and you've got to be careful. And this is more for Jay's sake than anything. I didn't report him or make a big deal out of it, but I wasn't impressed. And this all adds up to the kind of character he is. He doesn't know me, so why is he commenting on a picture of me and somebody else on a Facebook wall in a derogatory way? It's just poor. But it's a joke, apparently. Now, and where Albion's concerned as well, one other thing, this is a young kid from Albania, and this isn't an excuse, but this is reality. Back in the day, I was an idiot when I was young lad, but back in my day, we didn't have mobile phones until I was about 21, 22. We didn't have the internet until about then, and we didn't have the social media and the sort of scrutiny that we do now. I think it's tougher in today's life to be a kid. And if you're a young lad and you go on these public forums and these online games and that, you can get carried away, and you can, and we all can, and especially when you're young, and you can say daft things. And I think you have to be very careful, because back then, you just got away with a lot more. It doesn't mean that we were better people, but we just got away with a lot more. The point is, we've all done and said stupid things in our life, in our times. We all have. And you make a mistake, you go away, you learn from it. But what do you want in life? You want someone to just be punished forever. Just keep punishing. So anyone who goes to prison, that's them. They're bad forever. Anybody who makes a mistake in life, that's them labelled. Because I feel like some people are not being very forgiving here, are they? So very, very disappointed that Jay initially attacked Albion in that post, and obviously I'm even bitterly disappointed, even more so that he then decides to go on a Facebook page in NYT. For me, this isn't a guy with any respect towards me or what I've done for this game world, and this isn't and he hasn't got any respect for another member of TFSL who's been brilliant. For me, I would like him to leave. I'm not going to force him, but I'm being honest, and I'm being honest with you guys. I don't see him fitting the criteria of what we're trying to achieve here, and that's my honest opinion. So Jay, I don't wish any ill harm on you in real life or anything silly or negative like that, but honestly, I think it's best that you leave TFSL and me and you don't share game modes, and just leave it at that. That's what I think. You know, and you can go and pally up to some of your mates in NYT that you're so keen to defend. Okay, cheers guys. Thanks very much.